of the things that I love about playing the guitar, especially recording and playing over chords and looping things, is the fact that we are 100% in control, meaning we can decide how difficult we want things to be. We can decide how many chords we want to play, how many notes we want to play, and I know that most of us want things to be simple. Now in this lesson I want to show you how we can actually start with the most simple chord progression, beautiful chords, just 2 chords, and then we can play more things around these chords. We're going to add more chords, and of course we're going to record them with this lovely loop station that I have on the floor, so I can record things on the go and show you how it is done. Now I'm going to be using my electric guitar, but the harmonic and melodic concept that we are going to learn in these videos can be applied to any guitar, classical or acoustic as well. Now first things first, let's start with the most simple chord progression, just 2 chords, the C major and a lovely D add 11, which is basically the same chord, just 2 frets up. So if the C major is played on fret number 3, 3-2 open 1, the D add 11 is going to be played with 5-4 open and 3. And I'm playing these chords with a simple picking pattern. So I have 6 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can really decide how you want to end the second chord, but that's it. This is the melodic idea that we are going to be using. Now the cool thing about this chord progression is that it never resolves, and what it means is we are playing the C major chord and the D major chord, so we are considering now the C major to be the 4th degree of the G major key. So if you are in G major, the 4th degree will be 1, 2, 3, 4, the note C, and of course the chord that this note gives is the C major chord, and then the 5th degree, which is the note D, and we're gonna have the D major chord. So we are constantly going through the C and the D, the subdominant and the dominant chord, but we never really resolve to the home chord, which is the G major chord. And so the cool thing is that when we end up improvising over this chord progression, we have this endless loop. Now I'm just going to record this one real quick. Now I really like to add this melodic idea in 6th to this chord progression just to make it sound fuller, and I was playing simple idea if you think about it. I'm playing the fret number 5 and 5, 7 and 7, 9 and 8, and 10 and 10. And then for the D major, I'll go back to 7 and 7, 5 and 5, and 4 and 3. Now of course guys, I am using the notes of the G major scale, which is this one. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. Now of course I'm putting together this melodic idea. Playing the notes of the scale up and down is not going to take you anywhere, but if you start with such a simple melodic concept, it's going to open up so many different possibilities. For example, I could use the same melodic concept on just one string. For example, like this. Now the awesome thing is that once you have the chords that you like, in this case these 2 chords, you can then play them in different positions. So you can experiment with the same chords and maybe add more color, a different rhythmic pattern as well, like this. Now another cool thing that we could do is to, of course, add more chords to the chord progression. And so we already have 2 chords. We know that we are in the key of G major, so it shouldn't be difficult to add 1 or more chords to this chord progression. Let me give you an example. We could do C major, D add 11, back to the C, E minor, I mean, how beautiful is this thing, right? We play the C, the D, back to the C, but then rather than just keep the same loop going over and over, we finally landed on a tonic chord, which in this case is the E minor chord. Of course, this is going to completely change the way we approach the G major scale, because now we have finally a different chord in a chord progression. So let me record it real quick. Now let's use the same melodic approach and see what happens when we get to the E minor chord. Of course, we can use now something different. We don't have the same loop of 2 chords, so we can finally resolve to the E minor chord. Finally resolve. Now let me show you the last example. We're going to be using 4 chords, but only 2 shapes. So we're going to be playing the C major, the D add 11, the A minor 7, and the E minor 9. Let me play for you, and so now this A minor chord adds so much color to the chord progression, right? And so we can melodically, approach this chord differently, like this. try with just two chords. For example, the C and the D major. Just record the same two chords and then just use the G major scale to add more color to the chords. In this example, we were using sixths like this, melodically up and down the neck, but you can also use single notes. And of course, guys, you can then add the E minor chord, which is going to give a structure to the chord progression, so we kind of, move away from the endless chord 4 and chord 5, and we finally resolve to the E minor chord. Now I'm going to leave you to practice these chords. Take it step by step, enjoy this lesson, and I'll see you soon.